Hey, welcome back. This is Lone Wolf. We are playing Vintage Story on version 121.0, and we're picking up right where we left off from the other episode. So here we go. Um, we've got a bunch of items in my trunk. I'm going to go back through this, and we're going to put the ladder up from this one to surface. And for right now, we're going to close this off. We'll come back with a door so that we can access the cave. Oh, I always have to screw around with where my spears live, and then when I get a foe, I'm really confused because I know that spear's in slot 5, but right now it's ladders, not spears. And we've got exposure to cave, and we don't want exposure to the cave. And this is what I do with almost every translocator that I find and use, but not all of them. If the surface is right there, if an exit is real easy, that's not where I wanted you. Come on, you can do it, Wolf. Maybe you can. I'll bring you back when I get done with this process. All right, so right here at the surface, we found something very important to us. Here is olivine. Olivine is one of the things that we'll want to use when we're making our refractory bricks, because the inclusion of olivine in those bricks allows us to go from tier 1 to tier 2, which reduces the amount, or the percentage, the amount of breakage that happens with the refractory bricks. So this is good. Knowing where that is, all we have to do when we want some is just come and mine it up. Not that at this moment I'm interested in that so much, but I'm absolutely not surprised that we've got olivine right here. In fact, my surprise would be if we didn't have olivine right here, because we have peridotite. Nope. Because we have peridotite, and that's where you find olivine. All right, so we're here. Home is this way. Oh, I'm gonna run home. Okay, back home. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And I'm just putting some things away and restocking, and we'll be back to work. And we have our first painting. There we go. I think that does it for putting away inventory. The chest is empty. My inventory is empty. Bandages are full. Okay, just going to check my food status. We seem good on that for what I anticipate us doing. So I'm heading back to the now laddered to the surface translocator. The extra ladder rung on there is not for me to help see it, but that's nice that it helps me find where I'm going. Catch up on eating. And this just makes for, I didn't make any doors. I'm going to go make doors. Back in the day, all these translocators that I repair, I used to make translocator rooms where those came to the surface. I spent a lot of time and resources doing that. And it was more of the fact that it was on a multiplayer server that I knew, more than just me would likely use those translocators because they're not hidden. They're not private. So I would do that really not so much for myself, except it is nice to be able to come to the surface and not be attacked when you get there. But I don't know, it was just one of those things that I liked doing, and maybe I'll start doing that again. I have no idea. But I wasn't the only one. This was all on worlds hosted on Ara Fury. It's not the only multiplayer server that I've played on, but it's the only one that I've played on for a significant amount of time. Door up, and now we have easy access in and out of the cave system to which this translocator is attached. And there we go. I should also have brought, but did not think to bring, um, torch holders and torches to light these rooms up so that when you come in, you don't have bad guys sitting here. But what I actually do to help combat that is I will take up this wood floor and I will put full stone path blocks in here, making it a place where they can't spawn, thereby eliminating the need for me to put torches and torch holders in each of these translocator rooms. Because the last thing you want to do is step through a translocator and immediately be faced with whatever kind of mob might be sitting there wanting to kill you. At least that's how I feel about it. If I can make a place safe with reasonable effort, then that's what I want to do. And we can do that real easy with the resources that we already have, which is dirt and stones. I think we may have a few stones. Oh, we're collecting more as we speak. I am very much a road builder at heart, and I don't start doing that right away. Right, first part of the game, I assume this normal for everybody is I'm just working on getting my base established, getting things set up, and getting things secured. And then I start my advancement through the different aspects of the game, primarily so I can go and explore and have everything I need, because that is my favorite part of Vintage Story, is exploring. But to me, getting through the early stages also includes getting steel. Iron is a great achievement, and it is absolutely, sometimes it is very, very difficult to reach the Iron Age. We were fortunate on this world. Yes, I did do my part to find it, but the fact that we found it as quickly as we did, yeah, do not expect that to be typical, because that is not typical. Well, I wanted to remove one ladder rung, not two. Anyway, so yeah, I'm ready to have the bauxite and everything and get a cementation furnace. Steel is just that much better than iron. I would like to move beyond my iron chain to steel armor. It's a whole tier above iron. We're going to go down here and pick up all the stuff that fell. It's a whole tier above iron, and the durability is more than double that of iron. So you can take a lot more abuse. Right away, it gives you more damage elimination, damage reduction. Um, and with the tier, I'm not an expert on how the tiers work, other than I know that the tier is meaningful. Anyways, I want to see where we're at. Okay, so this is an area where I have not been, but you can see that, I've not been too far from here. Got some meteoric iron there. Can't get that until I get steel. Um, if I'd have had my wish fulfilled, this translocator would have taken us to a more remote location, not where I've already been before. But this is okay. I wonder, is this basalt? Because that looks like shell, and this darker, the only thing I can imagine it being is basalt. I want to improve my exit here, if not minimally, and just get one more ladder rung up. This will do. Okay, so we're in hyena country. We can see that. There's a ruin over here that I haven't been to, and offhand I do not recognize. I guess what I'm most curious about right now is, what is this rock type over here? I really like basalt, and for some reason basalt became a difficult thing to find in most of the worlds that I've played on recently with all the updates, which doesn't make sense because the game, the dev team really does work hard to have a lot of the world be similar to that of the real world that we all live on. And basalt is everywhere on this planet. It is what comes from volcanoes exploding and lava flowing. The lava flowing makes basalt. That's where basalt comes from. And where I've grown up, I've spent most of my life, and I'm grateful to see that this is basalt. I've spent most of my life living in volcanic zones where we have lava tubes for caves to explore, which I've spent lots and lots and lots and lots of my youth exploring lava tubes. No claustrophobia here. Um, anyways, I just don't understand what the thinking behind making these far more rare than they used to be. We used to find basalt just as frequently as anything else, and that is just not the case anymore. So I am not looking for anything specific here. Early game. Oh, this is so much better than flint. It's obsidian, and the tools are much better from basalt than from flint. As always, we're looking for flint because we need fire clay. Fire clay requires flint. And right now I'm just having fun being in a spot where I haven't been before. Look at that, we have surface tin here. That's not an accident. I changed the frequency of surface tin in the world customization so that it would be more prevalent on the surface. Though I changed both copper and tin, but I only changed it by one setting on copper, and I increased its prevalence 2 settings on the tin, because you almost never find tin at its default settings on the surface. And tin is a big gatekeeper for every world, for every player, because unless you figure out how to get to bronze, you're stuck in copper, and you'll not be getting into the Iron Age until you have bronze, because you cannot mine the iron with copper. So once again, I will say it, I will continue to say it, I will repeat it until you're sick of me hearing it, and then I'll repeat it more. Play this game the way that you want to play the game. If the developers didn't want us to be able to alter things, oh, here's meteoric iron right here. In fact, there's some on the surface. If they didn't want us to change their settings, they wouldn't have made the game ready from the beginning for mods. Um, they wouldn't have put things in files that we can just edit with a text editor. They would have done things different if we weren't supposed to be able to change things. So it's up to you how you play, and it's up to me how I play. And I try not to change too much of the world, but there are certain mods that I just do not play without. I do not play without a step-up mod. I don't want to have to press spacebar every time I want to go up a block. You know, we don't jump in real life to step up a block. We just take a step. It requires more energy, but we don't jump to step up a level. So why should I be doing that? Come on, I'm not hitting the right keys here. So why should I do that in the game? Very, very grateful to CopyGirl for inventing that mod, and it's been taken over by somebody else because CopyGirl has discontinued any work on such things. But CopyGirl was brilliant and a wonderful friend of Ashanton's, and unfortunately I never got to know CopyGirl, though I have communicated with CopyGirl. So there's that. Carry on. Why wouldn't I be able to put something on my back? It completely changes the game, being able to have additional inventory that you can transport. So for me, carry on is beyond an obvious choice. And I will wait to play on a version until carry on, formerly known as carry capacity, or whatever. CopyGirl made that mod too, and it's been taken over and kept up by somebody else. So I will avoid playing on a version until that mod is ready. There are mods currently that I don't play without, but obviously I am playing without, but I check every day to look for them to be updated. Accessibility tweaks is one of them. I find that indispensable. Some of the sounds in this game are beyond obnoxiously loud and force me to turn the sound down, and then I don't get to enjoy the rest of the sounds of the game. And in accessibility tweaks, you can change every single sound in the game. You can change their volume. You can change their pitch. I have not done the pitch changing, but you can. So if a certain frequency is annoying to you, and you are an individual after all, you can change that. So that's from Apache. Another one that I really love from Apache is Campaign Cartographer. And oh, guess what? One of the mods that you've seen me take advantage of most frequently of all on this world is another Apache mod called Knapster. In other words, Napster. Of course, I say Knapster because it starts with a K. Yes, I know it's Napster. So, in my opinion, if it's made by Apache, it's going to be quality. Doesn't mean that I necessarily want to use it. He has made many mods that I've never even loaded onto a world. But that doesn't mean they're not quality mods. They just haven't caught my attention, piqued my interest, whatever. Doesn't matter. So I await the update of, well, Napster hasn't been updated. It just happens to still work with 121. The other two do not work with 121. So I'm really grateful that Napster is working even though it hasn't been updated. The mods have to have and reserve the ability to change whatever they need to do to continue the expansion, enhancement, changing, etc. of the base game. And as a result of that, mods get broken. Every new release, things get changed, and it affects the way that mods were working, and so they have to be updated to be able to work with the new version. What am I doing wrong? I don't know, but I'm not hitting the right keys. Anyways, I love the millwright mod for windmills. We're not there. I haven't used it. I don't know. You've seen the list of mods that I use. If you haven't, go look in the description of the video and you will see a list there of mods. I like the status HUD mod. It's status HUD continued or something. I don't really so much care about this display of the status, the state of my armor, but it's interesting. What I install it for is one thing, and that is for temporal stability at the location where I'm standing, whether things are horrible or good. Sometimes you have to travel a long ways to find a stable area for you to recover your stability in. And having that number available makes it so much easier to define where you want to go and hang out to recover your stability. Let's get the trunk out. We've got every inventory slot but one currently occupied. And now we don't. So there is a penalty for putting that item on your back. There's a movement speed penalty. I don't necessarily agree with all of them, and I wish that the mod author would let us choose to modify that to how we see fit. Oh, nice resin. Mark the tree. How did I get rid of my mini map? Okay, so that's marked. Yeah, I'd like to be able to change what that penalty is. And maybe it can be done. I don't know. I'm sure that I've looked at it before and I didn't find where it was readily changeable. But that's not an issue. I'll accept that penalty, having that extra inventory capacity. The penalty associated with it obviously is not too high because I keep using it. But I would like to be able to change that. Okay. So what I'm finding is, a very large, huge desert area here. Finding some copper and some resin and a little bit of tin and meteoric iron deposit. And that's our translocator where we came through. My hunger bar is telling me that I probably need to eat. So I suppose I'll take a moment and do that. I specifically only put one piece down here because as you eat it, if your hunger isn't sufficient to consume the entire item, then a partial serving of it will remain, and those do not stack because they're not the same block anymore. So that's why when I put the pie on the hot bar, I just put one. I heard a drifter. I don't know if it came through in the recording, but there was a drifter out there. So there's no signs at all right now of any bauxite. And we do have another translocator to repair, and maybe a third one. And I believe I have all that I need to repair those. But right now I'm enjoying this one. Since I know I haven't been here, I know there's plenty of resources, including loose flint on the ground. Oh, there's lots of copper, which I'm grateful for. And we do have pine trees in the desert, and pine trees in the deserts can be a really good source for resin, just like pine trees of all kinds. All right, none on that one. I probably need to start harvesting some pine trees to get some seeds so that I can add them to my grove of trees, my tree farm. Sorry, Ash, I'm not picking up that shell. I know it slays you. Yeah, this is shell. I said slate, but yeah, it's shell like I assumed it was. Which made me hopeful that the basalt was in fact basalt. So there'll be plenty of caves out here to explore. We may as well poke our head in here just a little bit. And we see that it goes nowhere. It's just a tunnel. I don't know where this phrase paths through comes from, but where I come from, a cave that has an exit like that is called a tunnel. What do I know? I just spent my entire youth caving or spelunking. Ooh, it is nice to know where there's a big sandstone biome as well. Sandstone, I think, is a pretty rock, and you can find lots of resources in sandstone. It's one of the resources where finding coal is not difficult, it's not particularly difficult, or I should say it's, oh, so we went from sandstone to shale. Well, let's take a prospecting pick here, find out what's in this area. I don't know what reading you stored in the buffer, but clearly I've abandoned that reading a long time ago. Sphalerite, halite. Hey, somebody had posted on one of my videos, hey, can you show me how to find halite? Well, right here is the first step in finding halite is be a prospector. So while this says poor, that means the chances of it actually existing here, it does have the possibility, but it's poor chance. But if it does exist, there is high volume of that resource in this column chunk. So now that I've seen this reading, if I'm pursuing halite, I do exactly what I've done trying to find iron, which did succeed and lead us to finding iron. So my hope would be that as I take more node search prospecting samples from the area, that hopefully we would see this label go up and be able to find halite here. Along the lines of, well, what do you do to find halite? Another clue is that halite forms in what would have used to be seabed. And so your sedimentary rock is one of those rocks that halite would have a better chance in forming than one of the igneous rocks. I think that's the name. Okay, so if we just look at these two samples, we are moving away from the halite reading. No, actually, no. I thought this was 28. Actually, the reading has gotten stronger, and we've just moved, just a little bit here, and the prospect of zinc has gone up too. We're not out here to prospect, but the fact that I'm going to put a waypoint down here for halite. All right, so I've made a halite looking color waypoint, and on the label, obviously I've got halite, but I'm telling myself, no, I haven't found it, but it's possibly in the area. I try to help myself in my waypoints to know more than just, oh, copper here or whatever. So I try to leave myself clues, because otherwise I'm clueless. All right, so we did get a lovely rusty gear from that. While we're here in this area, I am going to take some more prospect readings because I am naturally interested in the halite. What is halite? I don't know if that's the scientific name for salt, but it's salt. Okay, we are going to take another reading. And as always, I want to get enough material to get me back up out of whatever hole I dig. Okay, we've reached stone, that's good. And what I'm looking for is to have at least one stone between me and the stuff that's going to fall, because I don't want to have it fall on me. Damage me. I don't want to be damaged. All right, and now another node densities, or density search mode. Seeing what can be seen. And sample 3. Okay, so this sample, we've actually gone higher in halite. We went from 25 to 27. We still have the label poor. And we've gone from decent to high sphalerite. So if we want zinc, this is a good place to come to search for it. I'm going to leave that as is because I may want to come back here. Oh, I hear a nasty boy. And we're going to continue heading this way, and we're going to take another prospecting pick reading. Oh my gosh. The thing about deserts and finding ores on top is it's not covered by trees and brush and everything else. It's exposed. Is it more common in the desert? No, I don't think so. But do we find it more commonly in the desert? We absolutely do. Again, I'm attributing that to there's just nothing preventing us from seeing it on the surface here in the desert. All right, so we found solid rock. Go down far enough. Nothing obvious going to fall on us, although we did break through there. And now get the prospecting pick out. Sample 1, sample 2, and sample 3. Halite. Wow, it is getting better for halite. There's no question about that. What is increasing is if we find it, there's more of it. So we started with a reading of 23% here, and we've gone up to almost 31%. So we are on the trail of halite. So I am going to continue, but actually, I've noticed something. It's time for me to end the video. So we'll pick this up in the next one. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm always having fun because I'm playing Vintage Story. All right, sometimes I'm not having fun. Um, Please consider subscribing to my channel. Click on that like button, and I love hearing from you, so feel comfortable and free to post comments. But most importantly, come watch my next episode, won't you? Thank you so much, and goodbye.